that.
Oh, I love it. All the smiles. Okay, it is 12:16. We are recording this for our team and potentially to share with everyone. We haven't quite decided, so thank you for being patient with us. And everything that you share is really held in this space between all of us, and know that we support you 100%, and this crew has come together to support you. So that's my precursor for recording. Okay, over to you, Steph.
Well, Goal Club number 2, welcome. I don't know if you were here last time. You may or may not have been. My name is Steph Corker. My pronouns are she, her. I'm coming to you from not a Zoom background. And I should know whose land I'm on. And that's wrong. I'm sorry that I don't. Nativeland.ca will help you get there and should help me get there too. What I do want to share is that we sent out an invite and said there would be a special guest. And it is currently 12:16 Pacific time, yet our special guest was in Bali and it's 3 a.m. his time. And despite some recordings and some joy, it just wasn't going to work. And it happened at the last minute. And so that's sometimes the land of goals too, that we set them and it gets crunchy and it doesn't happen. And so I'm going to spoiler this and dive right in that one of our big sweet goals at the Corker Co in 2022 is hosting a retreat with Team Franti at Soulshine Bali. And Soulshine Bali, I mean, for a million reasons, it's so special and so wonderful. And something that's really neat is that in the pandemic, they questioned closing it down because Bali shut down and borders shut down. And they had this cute little boutique hotel and they thought, we're not going to make it through. And Michael really wanted to stay in Bali. He was like, this is the place for our family, Sarah. Like, let's stay here. And we actually recorded a podcast and it was dark. And he said, you know, I wrote this song, Leave the Lights On. But I just wanted to leave the lights on during this really dark time. And the night before their flight back to America, Sarah said, forget it, cancel our tickets. We're staying here. We're going all in on Soulshine Bali. And here we are 15 months later, and they've created a beautiful boutique hotel. They have expanded. They spent the pandemic growing. They're so connected to their locals and have this beautiful, beautiful team. I mean, their cuisine is exquisite. Their yoga space is glorious. And we're like, we're there. So we thought that there was no better time to announce this sweet, rad goal come to life than on Goal Club. And so in November, we're heading November 12th to 19th. Is that right, Cess? We're off to Bali. And you're invited and you're hearing about that first. And if you don't want to come all the way to Bali, we also are taking over Bodega Ridge in May 10th to 12th. And that's just another place for goals to come to life. So I share that. I'm not Michael and Sarah. The video won't come to you today, but we can come to them in Bali in November. And with that, I wanted to do the quick recap. I was like, how funny, you know, we could get a 78-year-old man who can barely walk to come to the first Goal Club, but we can't get like a 3 a.m. human being in Bali. And that's just how it works sometimes. What really landed with me from Brian last month was the power of mindset and the power of like repetitiveness. So every day I've been writing down my goals and they're different. And I'm like, gosh, Brian, all right, in the name of you, I will, here I go 10 times over. And what I have discovered is that while the mindset piece and the repetitive piece that he spoke about is so powerful, I feel lucky that I have a sweet little community that we get to riff on this all the time. And that's what felt so real for Goal Club, was how do we keep and make Goal Club the space where we can riff on this together all the time. And Cess is really going to lead the charge today. And Cess, I want to put it over to you and bring the crew together so we can riff on goals for today and beyond.
I love it. I'm looking at everyone's faces here and it's so beautiful to see. I love that we've all gathered. Hi, everyone. And today I really would like to make this about you. Last month, we got the pleasure of hearing from Brian Tracy. Hi, Aiden, it's so nice. And what I think is so special that we've come together for a specific topic. And this topic, I was thinking about this week. I'm like, we don't have to be, oh, you spotlighted me. Thank you. This group, and I'm making this up. And so know that anything that I say might not be true. So you're always welcome to say not true for me, but, and I understand. I don't think that we need to enroll each other, that goals are important. I feel like we've gathered here because we are all aligned that goals really matter. Now, where we might be throughout this journey is in different places because we all have our own unique journeys. And what I do feel is that some might have some that you've achieved, some might, and who has achieved some big goals? I just want to see, raise your hand. Who feels like and you can use these reactions at the bottom, like, okay, great. Some might feel stuck. Who feels stuck? And it could be some of your goals feel sticky and some feel great. So raise your hand if you're in that boat of feeling a bit like, okay, good. I love it. Hi, Dell. Nice to see you. And then who knows what, oh, Kristen, okay, Ashley, Heather, yes, thank you. And then what is the other bucket? So during these goal club sessions, I'd love for you, use the chat. So if you want to chat anything to each other, to us, we have Lil's wave your hand, and Anne, and they're going to be watching the chat for us. So know anything that you share and ask, we're honoring. The other thing is I'd love for you to put in what you want to get out. So if you're really here because you're so on fire and want to share your goals, oh gosh, please talk and be like, Cecily, I'm not sorry that I'm interrupting you. I just need to share this. So never be sorry. Everything we share is confidential, meaning if you share something, it's not ours to share. So if you're going to share a goal, I won't leave this room and go, hey, Peter, guess what someone said about this? I just want you to know this is a really safe space. I also would love to give you permission to try things out. So sometimes, you know, being a coach in the coaching world, when someone shares something, I want to give everyone permission to say it and have it feel raw. However, it might not be true because as soon as you say something, you are going to hear it for yourself and then go, it's more like this. So please always take a take two if needed. Okay, what would you add? You can put it in the chat or share something. What else do you need to be in this space? Hero, I see you. Are you coming to unmute? Oh, good. A breath. Let's do that. Okay. So wherever you are, could you gaze wherever you want, just not at the screen. So you could close your eyes. You can look away, look at your window. And let's take a collective deep breath. I think I needed a breath the most. So deep inhale. And deep exhale. And wherever you are in your life with your goals, in the process of goal setting, let's bring in some acceptance. And let's bring in honoring yourself and how much work it takes to just be us. Yeah. Connection and community. Great, Patrick. Yeah. Connection and community. Thank you. So here we go. What I'd like to do is I'm going to launch a poll. If you could grab your phones, if you don't have a phone, no worries, you can drop it in the chat. Answer this first question. What outlandish goals have you achieved? Someone may be thinking, in what time frame? So just give yourself freedom and permission to answer it however you'd like. Okay, I did do birthing in 11 minutes. That was mine. So I needed to test it out, and that's true. Raising a daughter, great. So wow, you can see these all coming in here. Becoming a father at 22. Yeah, keep these coming in. What outlandish goals have you achieved? So you can do many. You can keep going. Growing a team, marathons, met my future husband. Great, this is beautiful, opening a studio. So keep those coming in. I'm going to stop sharing, and I'd love for someone to share what does this bring up, this question? Maybe not the answer for you, but what does this question bring up for you? First thing in your goals and setting your goals is really understanding that we're all goal setters, right? And so mindset is so important. Brian Tracy talked about mindset, and us having this mindset of look at what we've done, and appreciation and celebration makes all the difference in setting new goals and achieving your goals. So one thing that Steph and I were talking about before these sessions is, what is my mindset? And I said to Steph, in all honesty, I don't think I can articulate my mindset very well. I love when other people talk about, the impact of maybe coaching that I've given them or goals. And one thing that I know is, as soon as I see something like a vision, I see the steps, it's happened already. And so then I don't even need to say, what gets in the way? I'm like, I see the path and then I go. And so what is your current mindset with the goals that maybe you've achieved or that you're setting? Jeremy, I'm just going to call on you and have you share, because I know you're always ready.
Well, I've been riding the wave of goals, and my current mindset is a deep awareness of what's important, like connecting to my vision for why my goals are important, which when I'm connected to makes the steps towards those goals so much easier.
That's so great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. So this first question of what goals have you achieved, right? It helps us go, wow, look at what I've achieved. And then when you reset your goals, you'll know that you have already won. You have a set of behaviors that has you get the ability to achieve your goals. So then there's no room for doubt. So that's really why this question is so important. Anytime you go to set your goals, look at what I've done. Sometimes what I say to people when they have doubt with their goals is, go count how many hours you've done that for. And if you see that you've done it for 10,000 hours already, the older you get, the more hours you've done it, then you're like, wow, I have no room for doubt in my life. It's just happening. Okay, what else does that bring up? Please know that you can just jump on and share. Oh, great, Lee.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi there. I had a great insight for me after the last call with you all and Brian. And what I realized that historically, I've been a goal setter my whole life. But historically, what happens is I used to set the goals, do a January 1st, big planning session, review last year, et cetera, using multiple different tools, and then putting it away, and then coming back to it the next year and seeing whether or not I had achieved those goals, which in and of itself is a great start. But it just sort of dawned on me that, what, if you really want to achieve those goals or overachieve those goals, you should probably look at them like every day. And so I realized that goals are achieved in inches, like literally inches. And so I have faithfully written down my goals for the last number of weeks or days since we've talked, the 10-step process as he outlined. And I'm just now so excited about looking at that goal every day and seeing what is the inch that I achieved between yesterday and today in the last 24 hours. And it is so motivating. And I'm thinking, Lee, what were you doing for the last 20 years of your life? Anyway, that's what I wanted to share.
Oh, that is so good. So, and when you see that, what do you say to yourself when you're like, what inches or what, like, do you see growth? I'm asking the question. I wonder if anyone else was wondering that. I'm asking the question for the group.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think, you've heard the old adage, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And I think that we can live in overwhelm and procrastination because we don't know what that very next step is. So I've kind of been incorporating that via, the David Allen thinking of what's next. And that tiny thing, whatever that is, like today, you want to know what my goal is to put up 2 whiteboards. That's my goal. but that moves me 1 inch further to the planning that I'm going to do to achieve the big goal. So I celebrate the little stuff now.
Oh, so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So what I would like to do is I'm going to put us into some breakout rooms.
Wait,
And-
Seth, we have 2 hands up.
Where? Oh my gosh, thank
I know.
you.
I just need to jump in. Patrick and Tia. They can't get off the hook of sharing.
Oh, great. Okay, Patrick, you go first. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Just kind of 2 things on first thing on mindset. I listened to a podcast the other day, and 2 mindsets that I've tried to incorporate over the last little while is an abundance mindset and a longevity mindset. And I think for me, those things are kind of really resonating in the sense that, like, if you keep connecting and keep committing to kind of yourself every day, that there is enough and there is plenty and that you can achieve anything you kind of put your mind to. And then from a longevity standpoint, like just being kind of consistent and persistent with goals. I've kind of ride the waves as well, where sometimes I'm achieving a lot, other times I kind of, get caught up. And, I think reconnecting to that on a daily basis just allows me to kind of stay consistent with how I'm achieving and how I'm growing.
Anything else about, like, what is the biggest impact of this mindset? Steph asked me a question like, when did your mindset shift? When was the moment when that happened?
I was listening to this podcast with Peter Diamandis, who's like a very progressive entrepreneur. And he kind of just shifted my mindset from like, we all operate a lot in scarcity, like there isn't enough. And we're kind of, scarcity is kind of a mindset of fear. Whereas like abundance is a mindset of future and opportunity and ability to, there is more. And if you kind of get out of that scarcity fear state and start shifting towards more of a growth abundance state, then more comes to you because you're not rejecting things in fear, I guess.
Thank you for going a little deeper. I love that, because something in that really resonated with you to go, oh, then I need to go this way or that way or start living this way. So thank you for going a bit deeper there.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
Tia, did you have your hand up?
I did not.
Well, now if you'd like to share, share.
I was like, anything else? I think just one thing that's helped me, I'd say in this past year, 2 years, if not now, when? If I don't get after this now, when? And it helps me kind of reframe whenever I'm making an excuse or if I've actually hit a roadblock. And it just kind of gives me that moment to pause and be like, okay, if it's something that I need help with, let's go get help. Let's go ask for guidance, mentorship, whatever it is. And not being afraid to do so and not being afraid to ask the questions. And then, or it might just be me having to like tell myself you're stalling because you're making an excuse. So there we go.
I love that. Thank you. I wrote that down and circled it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, looking for hands. I feel like we're good. In your breakout rooms, I would love for you to have the space to share a goal that you're working on. And if you don't have one, it's a time to listen to someone. It's a time to share. So just be really open. There's no pressure. If you don't want to share, just say pass. Please just be free there. If you want to come back to the main room, just leave your room and I'll be there. Okay, so I'm going to give you 4 minutes.
I know. I love to hear from myself too.
And I'll just say before you share that I was looking.
I had the opportunity to meet 2 new friends. Thank you for being there, friends, and hear about their goals. And for me, I am, working on recovery physically. I have been feeling very exhausted, very beaten down. Big shout out to my strength coach here, Britt. And I am, now that I'm starting to feel the joy of spring and life force visiting again, I am working at a new course. So creating a new content for a very secret project, a new course, online course, a new school. And that's my goal, to start just gathering and structuring some content. Normally I work with maps, so designing a map of meaning for this course. Thank you, I have spoken.
Thank you, Hero. What else came up in your breakout rooms that you'd be willing to share or ask?
I just want to share that 76%, your goal is 76% more likely to be achieved when it is shared. And the joy of this session, which was only going to have a slight introduction from Michael Franti, was that we could share goals, because if we are the only people that get to hear your goals, they're held in such a special place. And can we help bring them to life in any way? Well, we're not at the help part yet, just the share part. Share.
The share part.
Okay, well, I was going to share my friend's goal because I think it's so great, but I realize I don't have her permission for the bigger group. So I'm wondering, Natasha, if I can PR you.
Waiting, verbal confirmation.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
So Natasha has her own business and she makes these artisan canoe paddles, and she works with different artisans and makers, if I'm understanding it correctly, and she's moving into experiences. And my sense is that with this community of people from Canada and the US and all sorts of other places, that a lot of us have in our goals to maybe have more adventure this year, or do something outside of our comfort zone, or maybe lean into a value of bravery. And so as Natasha wants or is going to make this her full-time focus in her career, perhaps 1 + 1 can equal 3, and some of our adventures can be with her new experiential business.
Woo. Love it. Thank you.
Put a link in the chat.
Steph just shared the Natasha's paddles. Is that the link?
Yeah, it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. That's so great. Corinne.
I don't know how to put my name down. Sorry.
I'll put it down. You're great.
Hi, everyone. I had shared in our group that one of my themes for this year, I'm like coming back of a bit of a transition in terms of coming off of mat leave. You'll hear my little one in the background and maybe see him. And I really want to spend this year around making some moves, and that's quite applying it both in my career life. I run a communications firm, and so I'm trying, and as a team, we're trying to be a bit braver on going after some bigger contracts, building our team, really going after the things that we want, and taking the time to be intentional to do that. And we've had a great start to the year around that. And then in our home life, we've been a bit wishy-washy over the last couple of years on deciding, like, where do we want to put down some more roots and where do we want to be? And we this week just had an offer accepted, and so we're making a move, and that's really exciting and terrifying. And my heart is pounding even saying it out loud, because now the real work begins of setting up this home the way that we want it. And we've got this goal of, it's quite a big project and a house flip, and so we've got a big goal of making it our home and our community, and it's terrifying but also really exciting.
Yes, thank you. Woo! Oh my goodness. If there's a goal that you want support with, could you keep dropping it in the chat? Yeah, in the chat. Thanks, Steph, for doing that, because you can see that the team is like gathering behind it and checking it out. And like Steph said, like once you say it and share it, it's more likely to happen, and probably faster. I just added the faster, and it's known to happen. Okay, one more. Who else is out there? Share what came up for you in the breakout rooms, or something that's bubbling up with your goal. Am I missing a hand up there? Tia, go ahead.
This time it was intentional. And taking what I said last time, I was thinking, if not now, when. I have recently launched, so I teach for the class, which is like my main job. And then I started my own women's health coaching business, which I'm super pumped about. Thank you. And so my next big step that I need to do is build and launch a website. And that's like so far out of my scope. I love the creative. I got the vision part. But it's the now like the actioning those big items. So that is my goal. And I've given myself a timeline. I want to get it done before June. So
So great. So the part of the process, so the next question that I was just going to share with all of us is, what is your process around goal setting? So Tia, maybe you could start first of like, what is this process of goals for you?
Yeah. Great question. I love to start with sort of vision, and then each year I kind of have a couple keywords that I always go back to. And then once I have those things done, then I have my big goals, and then I break them down into smaller like milestones. I like project planning, and so I kind of work it backwards of like, okay, this is when I want like full unveiling, all systems go, everything up and running. What little steps do I need to achieve before that's up and launched? And then keeping myself accountable to dates and sort of tracking it that way.
Wow, so awesome. I am giving you a high five right now because that works for you. And so I'd love for you to go back. You can take a photo of this right here. And what approach do you take in achieving your goals? And the keyword being achieving, right? What approach do you take with achieving your goals? Take a moment to think about it. I'll show the results here so we can see and get ideas too. Because if you feel stuck in a goal, perhaps there's some wisdom here that you could pull to get the inspiration. If it's working for you, drop it in here because someone else will definitely benefit from it. Yeah, choosing to be decisive. Good one. Project plans. Find someone to be accountable to. Say it out loud. Yes. I'm going to lower your hand, Tia. This is great. Vision, then documents, accountability buddy. I just added that word in. I think the reverse engineering, you know, Jeremy is a consultant at the Corker Collective. And this morning we were talking and he had such a beautiful way of describing how to get to the goal. Jeremy, I wonder if I'll keep this up for a minute and you can come on and share the light and the boulders.
Yeah, for sure. So I've always looked at what's in the way of getting me to where I want to go. And now what I see with goal setting is I got to look way over into the future of that goal coming to reality. And that's the vision. And I put all this light on the vision instead of focusing on the boulders and the blocks that are in the way. So put all that light on the future. And then when I've spent some time there and really light it up, then look back at those boulders. And sometimes they don't look like boulders anymore because I'm so into the vision. It's so exciting now. So all the little steps, they just become easier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Gosh. And do you want to share your goal that you're working on?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So I've created a men's work group for queer men to really just allow people to have some of that healing and that men's work, but in the queer community space. So my goal is to fill my foundations course by April 1st with 10 participants. And I just locked down another one this morning. So it was freaking really good morning.
Yes. That is so great. Like get my goals. They just they happen because I put so much work into it and I focus on it. So maybe I do know how to articulate it. But one thing that you said was so beautiful was what you needed to hear to get over a boulder. Do you want to share that?
The thing that you said to me that I really needed?
That you were like, I really needed to hear that.
Yes. Yeah. So it was at one point, like you just have to stop taking feedback and just really connect to what you want to offer. And that's what I feel like I had done too much of in the past, is listening to and getting distracted by people's feedback. And now I'm so connected to my vision that it's actually coming to life because the distractions are falling off the wayside.
So for anyone who's so close to the finish line of your goal, this might work for you, and know that that might not work if you're in the initial stages, right? And at some point you just got to stop collecting feedback from everyone and go, nope, this is it. And I'm going to do my goal. That it's happening. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
The final question in our Slido is, what are you afraid of from declaring your goals? You know, another way to look at this is, are you holding anything back? Yeah. And I'd love, this is your space. So if someone wants to jump on and share, like, is there a goal, and is there anything that you're holding back? Got it. Becoming obsessed and unbalanced, lacking the confidence in them, me not accomplishing them, judgment. Okay. So keep these coming in because I can see them after too. So that would be really nice. I'm going to stop sharing and just look at this group and go, are there any goals that are so dear to you and maybe you've held back a little, or maybe you're afraid to share it?
Yes, I'm going to jump in, and then Anna, I saw your hand.
Yeah, okay, great.
I'm totally passing the mic to Anna after.
Great.
That I think something that's a little messed up in the world of goal setting is that it's like a start and then a 2% champagne moment. So it's like set your SMART goals and write them down like Brian Tracy. And like, that's so cool. And I'm going to be so pumped when you declare your goal. And then it just fizzles. And like, we don't talk about it. And we think that if it's not easy, it's not meant to be. The universe doesn't want me to achieve this because I'm coming up against some boulders. I've had some off days, so therefore I'm totally not committed. It's like, I'm freaking committed. I just want a glass of wine tonight. Is that okay? And we don't allow that grace and mobility within the goal. And it feels like to me that we've hit this place where it's like all or nothing versus the trajectory is like taking me there, and the journey is so worth it. And can we like be human enough with each other to hear a goal and not put judgment of your commitment on your goal on you? If you're happy and enjoying the journey, that's the whole freaking point of setting the goal, to go on a new journey. And so I love Jeremy's thoughts on boulders, because in the name of boulders, it's like some of them we have to get over. Like, we're not saying there's not going to be boulders. How sweet is it to have a boulder? The view's probably pretty sweet from the top of the boulder. And what would it be like if we could hold that space for ourselves and also each other? And then maybe we wouldn't give up on it so quickly, or give up on it. And I say that to like myself, and I'm like, and how can we do that for each other? That's what feels real to share. So Anna, I pass it to you.
Wow, you pretty much just like everything I was just gonna say, that would be like the answer or the response would be what you just said. And part of that is around flexibility and trusting myself, that my fear was that it's not the right one. Like the goal isn't the right one, or it's not the right choice, or the thing that I set out to do, maybe it's not exactly what I need. And do I trust myself to make course corrections, I guess? And do I trust myself to be flexible in that through the journey, just what you said, to make that call as it's happening and unfolding? There's change that I want. I'm choosing a different career. I have like a vision of a path and like a job and a situation, but what if it's not the right one? But just listening to you chat just really helped me kind of like circle that back. So yeah, cool. Thank you.
You're on mute, Steph. We want to hear what you're saying.
Oh, I said, go for a new chapter. Every book needs more pages. And yet we want to just keep writing and reading the same darn page,
Yeah.
New chapters.
Yeah.
New chapter.
I see Britt's hand.
Yeah, go ahead, Britt.
Yeah, Steph, I was just thinking about what you were saying, and there was some quote from Sam Harris about like the journey has to be better than the destination, because we spend so much more time in the journey part of things. And that when you understand that happiness really isn't something that can truly be achieved, like it's like we think if we achieve that goal, we'll be happy. If we achieve that goal, like everything will be right, and what if it's not? And I think that's that fear too, is even if we do achieve the goal, it may not get the results we wanted. And so if we're able to actually like love the process and grow and learn, like that's the win, more so than the goal.
Oh, great. Oh, thank you, Britt. I wrote that. Love the process. And every month that we meet, let's meet here and love the process that each of us are in. I'm going to bring that with me every single month. Let's just love the process. Okay, James.
Yeah, kind of what Britt was saying is that fear of what happens after you achieve that goal. You know, I manage this big team and we have a common goal, and it drives us every day to get out of bed to do our best at work. And then once we achieve this goal, then how do I motivate these 30 people that are looking up to me every morning? So that fear of being like, now what? What's next? And what's the next goal? And so like, do you self-sabotage sometimes to not achieve that goal because you want to keep being motivated? So yeah, the fear of achieving goals is a big one for me.
Mhm. Thank you. So the fear of achieving goals, because then will you just say that again?
Yeah, the fear of like achieving this goal, because then now as a leader, what am I using to motivate myself personally and my team? So now I have to find a new goal or establish a new thing and keep everyone like they have to buy in all over again.
I hear that. Thank you for sharing that. So let's meet again next month. And between now and then, write down 10 goals every day. See if the same ones show up. We have an email, support@thecorkercollective.com. In the title of it, write your goal. We won't share your name or the goal out wide. We won't cast it wide. However, we might respond to you and talk to you, and maybe we'll share it without your name. We want to support 500 goals this year. We want to support not only the finish line, but the enjoyment and the path throughout. So Tia, you're like, I need to do a website. Like, we could probably jam with you, for an hour and talk about how to get to that next step. So we're here. This community is here. And if you need anything, you know how to get a hold of us. So thank you so much for being here, showing up. Our commitment is to have a guest speaker every month. And so next month, we'll let you know who it is. Anything else before we go? Steph, anything from you over there?
I read a really sweet book this week, and it was a beautiful reminder from our favorite monk that waves don't die. So just remember that waves don't die, and nor do your goals. And if you need to burn some things, burn them, but don't throw it out into the ocean because it'll just keep coming back. That's what I got for you.
Thank you, everyone. That was so great. Bye. Have a great afternoon.
Ciao. Thank you.